Why does it feel like your prayers are going nowhere? Like you're pouring your heart out to God, and all you're getting in return is silence. You've cried, fasted, believed, and still, heaven seems quiet. It's one of the most frustrating, even painful experiences for a believer. The weight of waiting. The burden of not knowing if your prayers are being heard or ignored. But here's the shocking truth. Just because God is silent doesn't mean he is absent. And just because you don't see an answer doesn't mean God isn't already moving behind the scenes. The real reason your prayers feel unanswered might not be about God's neglect. It might be about your alignment. James 4 verse 3 says, "You ask and do not receive because you ask wrongly to spend on your passions." This verse exposes a hard reality. Sometimes the issue isn't the request, it's the reason behind it. You're asking for a relationship, but are you asking out of loneliness or purpose? You're asking for success, but are you asking to glorify God or prove your worth to others? The motive matters more than we admit, and God, being a loving Father, won't fund a future that will spiritually destroy you. He doesn't answer prayers that feed your pride, only the ones that align with your purpose. Another hidden reason your prayers feel unanswered is this. God often delays what you want in order to develop what you need. You think you're ready, but readiness in your mind is not the same as readiness in God's timeline. You want elevation, but God sees the pride you haven't dealt with. You want influence, but God sees the insecurity that would corrupt it. So he delays, not to deny you, but to protect you. Like a father who won't give the car keys to a child who hasn't learned to steer. God waits until your character can carry the weight of the blessing. Psalm 84 verse 11 says, "No good thing does he withhold from those who walk uprightly." So if he's withholding something, either it's not good for you, or you're not yet walking in alignment with him. And here's the secret nobody wants to talk about. Sin creates static in your prayer life. Isaiah 59 verse 2 makes it plain. Your iniquities have made a separation between you and your God, and your sins have hidden his face from you, so that he does not hear. Unconfessed sin, hidden resentment, bitterness, jealousy, these are spiritual blockers. You can't expect clarity from God while clinging to what offends him. You might be praying, but is your heart clean? Are you walking in forgiveness? Are you harboring pride, offense, or disobedience that shuts the heavens over your life? God's silence isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Sometimes it's the only way he can get your attention. If he answered every prayer immediately, you'd worship the outcome instead of the one who provided it. And sometimes the silence is actually strategy. Think about Lazarus. In John 11, Jesus waited 4 days before showing up to the tomb. Not because he didn't care, but because the miracle needed more than a healing. It needed a resurrection. The delay wasn't denial, it was divine setup. In the same way, God is letting your situation die so he can resurrect it with power and leave no doubt it was him. You're looking for answers. He's building a testimony. Romans 8 verse 28 reminds us, all things work together for good to those who love God. Not some things, all things, even the silence, even the waiting, even the things that feel like rejection are actually redirection. What if the job you didn't get was a spiritual trap? What if the relationship that didn't work out was a form of divine protection? What if the door that didn't open would have pulled you away from your purpose? God sees what you don't. So he sometimes says no or wait for reasons that won't make sense until you grow into a version of yourself that can look back and say, thank you for not answering that prayer. And still, there's one more truth. God might be answering, just not in the way you expected. You wanted a breakthrough, but he gave you endurance. You asked for healing, but he gave you strength to carry the thorn, like Paul in 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. You prayed for comfort, but he gave you purpose in pain. You wanted deliverance, but he gave you revelation. The answer is there. It's just hidden in the unfamiliar wrapping of God's wisdom. You're looking for fireworks. God is moving in whispers. Elijah didn't hear God in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire. He heard him in a still, small voice, 1 Kings 19 verse 12. If you only expect loud answers, you'll miss the quiet ones. So, what do you do when the silence feels louder than your faith? You keep praying. But more than that, you shift how you pray. Stop treating prayer like a demand list and start using it as a surrender. Ask not just for outcomes, but for alignment. Ask not just for answers, but for discernment. Don't pray, God, change this. Start praying, God, change me. Because the greatest breakthrough doesn't always come in the form of what changes around you. It often comes through what changes within you. So here's the challenge. Check your motives, examine your heart, silence the noise, and lean in. Your unanswered prayer isn't a sign that God has forgotten you. It's a sign He's forming you. And maybe, just maybe, what feels like a delay is actually a divine setup for something greater than you even prayed for.